Welcome to the Everyday Magic Podcast. I'm Anya Rock.
And I'm Dr. Sophia Trivena.
We've been best friends for 25 years, united by the belief that no matter what life throws at us, we can always find the magic. Join us every week as we dive into our most intimate conversations about sex, money, intuition, and building our company, Sofanya, a merger of our names and the best of us. Welcome back.
Yay!
Hi, Goddess.
Hi, Goddess. One of the most exciting days ever, I think, in the history of us and all we are here to create. You ready to know what it is?
I'm ready to know what it is.
Okay. All right. So for years and years and years and years, there has been development of you and I as individuals, and you very much understanding this whole beauty and wellness industry on a grander scale than I ever could. And me, meanwhile, simultaneously in another land, biohacking with the angels, solutions to my own problems that then evolved into sharing them with my clients and then being guided to form a company together. Just to catch everyone up. So that brings us to this moment, which is that we are coming up on a year of doing what seemed impossible, which is working with labs to take what I've been creating by hand and with the angels and creating a mimic of it, a replica, like the exact thing that would... Reproducing it so that it could reach more people, right? So like I can only... hand make so many things that can reach so many people. And for all the people that could benefit from these products, we had to go into a bigger process that seemed impossible when we started. And today's a special day because we're starting to get the results of all of these months of working to get the perfect ingredients, the perfect scent, the perfect combination, the perfect lab, the perfect team. All of it had to come together. And we have the very first product. So I don't know if you want to smell and feel the product first, or do you want to do the backstory and then lead up to the product?
Clearly, I want to smell the product first.
Great. Here is our very, very
first sample
of the finished sacred ritual body oil that has been in development for years and years and years and years and is an exact formula handed by the angels with the exact ingredients, quantities, everything.
And now this is the first time also when we have the scent.
Yes. So this
is a big moment.
This is a big moment, yes. And the scent was even given by the angels, exactly which essential oils and in what ratio.
I needed some oil anyway.
I'm going to try it again too.
It's beautiful. I mean, it smells... I think they nailed it.
They nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Heavenly. As the women from the manufacturing company wrote me, they said, this scent is heavenly. They actually used heavenly.
Wow.
And I said, well, heavenly was exactly what we were going for. Goddess!
Yay!
First moment. Oh my gosh, we even got to anoint each other. Lovely, right? So
feels right.
Yeah, I got the sample 2 days before you got here so that I could share it with you. And I, of course, did all the scientific things.
Using it on your legs.
Well, actually, funny enough, I was on video with you when I first opened it. Remember, I had the box. I opened it. I called you on video. You answered. And I said, Goddess, look, the box arrived. I'm opening it up. This is the first thing. I think the scent is good.
Yep.
And then I said, I put it on my leg. And my dog, Leela... As soon as I put the body oil on my body, she comes and starts licking it because it is actually organic food oil. It's cooking, it could be used for cooking. It's that pure and good. So always she comes and starts licking my leg. And so I was like, this is going to be the big test to see if Leela licks my leg when I put it on. So I put it on and we're watching each other on video and Leela looks at it and looks away and I'm like, oh, she didn't go for it. This is not the right body oil. We did it. And then literally I always share my coffee foam with her. So I'll take a little bit and give her a little coffee foam and I have my coffee. As soon as I finished my coffee and she knew I was done, she went right to licking my leg. She just wanted the coffee foam. It was not about the oil. So, and I took a video of it for you and was like, no, she loves it. She's licking my leg again. She's licking my leg again. And then I was like, well, what would happen if I put them both on, like both legs, right? Like I put the oil that I've been making myself, with my own ingredients and the oil that's coming now on en masse on the other leg, and she chose the new oil. So I was like, this is a big deal. Okay, this is a really big deal. So then I did the bath with the 2 pumps in the bath, and I had the whole bath, and I was like, oh, it smells and feels exactly how it feels in the bath, which is such a ritual. And when you love your ritual, you don't want to change it, right? So I was like, oh, amazing. And then I had a shower, took everything off again, and did one whole side of my body, face, everything in my oil that I made and the other in the new oil. And I actually, going to sleep, waking up, liked the new oil a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah. And we were told by the manufacturer that they can trace and know the quality of the oils that they're sourcing. So, who knows what I've been getting what says is FDA approved organic versions of it, but they found really good quality ingredients. And I've now had a couple showers with half and half. It's doing all the things. And I even find it a bit softer. And interestingly, the scent.
Yeah, this took a lot of nuanced.
I think we had the
process.
5. I think so. This oil is only 7 oils, 2 essential oils and 5 fruit, nut, and seed oils, and we got those 5 right away. And they did them in the combination exactly as the angels had told us, and it was great. And then it took another 8 months to find the right essential oils, and because they're rose and jasmine, to find the right rose, the right jasmine, and get them in the ratio that works, and then the ratio in the oil. That has been the long, long, long journey. We had to hire a bespoke scent house, if that's what you call it. I think it was called that, wasn't it? Something?
I don't remember, but
yeah, it was something
right.
house,
scent house.
And they would send us.
I mean, fragrances and scent is a really so nuanced, and people either have like, oh, I love it, or oh no, I feel like we just have such a visceral response immediately to scent.
Yes.
So
yeah, I love that you're saying this.
Yeah.
So I went on a scientific journey of why that is. Because I've been guided with clients to get them to find their favorite scent. And as we're doing certain work together where we're helping them declutter themselves from old programming and associate things with new programming. So they might have an association that every time the phone rings, it's going to be bad news, because that's actually been true for them. And then we're making it so that they've gotten rid of all the sources of stress that come through the phone. And I actually did this with the angels once. I said, I want every time I go to the phone to be excited, because all I'd been getting were people complaining and freaking out, and it changed. The people that were doing that kind of fell away, and new people came in, like you call, like I'm joyful. And now that I have the new association, every time the phone rings, I take my favorite scent and smell it at the same time. And it programmed me way quicker, Pavlovian, to associate the phone call with the new good thing. So I'll actually have clients go, now that you're connecting with that glimmer and you don't want it to go away, that the phone is a good thing, a call is a good thing, just take your favorite scent and smell it at the same time. So I got guided this a number of times to program yourself with scent. And we all know it. You can smell, like, for me, my granddad and my dad and I would smoke cherry tobacco pipe on Christmas Eve. Tradition. Generations. My granddad's a gold miner, right? Like, this is, so every time I smell anything like cherry tobacco, I'm flooded with those memories, right? We all have that, but it's a real thing. So I went looking and researching this. And so the way that the eye works is that you have 3 cones in there. And because you have these 3 cones in many different combinations, you see all the color you see. Your nose has about 400 plus receptors that combine to give a landscape of scent.
Cool.
Nothing else is like that, right? And it's very close to the pineal gland where the intuition is. And they actually don't entirely know exactly how it works the way they know the eye works. It's fascinating, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot to it. So when the angels said, mix these exact quantities of these 7 oils exactly like this, and it came out with this scent, I was in heaven. And then I found out that rose is the highest vibration of anything on earth. Like, if you muscle test and hold anything, rose, you will be the strongest. It's nourishing vibrationally for the biology.
Yeah.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the scent? You are way more into scents than I am otherwise. Like,
I feel like as you were talking, I was thinking about, like, I really reprogrammed to be, I don't think I would have chosen a rose and jasmine. It's much more floral than I would have, like, 6 months, 8 months ago, a year ago.
What would you have chose?
I mean, I typically, like, when they give you the scents at a massage, they'll be like, do you want, they usually give you 3 scents. I always go with citrus.
Like what, for example?
What do you mean?
Like what was the citrus example?
I don't know. Like usually it's the citrus blend, like grapefruit, orange.
And I would never pick that.
Yeah.
So intense for me.
Yeah.
I feel like I would be overwhelmed and so stimulated and I want a relaxing massage. I always pick lavender.
Oh, yeah. No,
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Scent.
You've given me this oil to use and I've grown to love it. And it's interesting, again, the kind of like, oh, will they quite get it? Like that familiarity, that attachment to the oil that's handmade, that in those quantities. But this is really
like, are the manufacturers going to get it? You mean?
Are they going to get it? Yeah.
Are they going to get it right?
Yeah.
Like they're going to meet this dream scent.
It's very high gold standard.
It really, really, really is. And it's interesting. Like everyone I've introduced this oil to. Okay, so should we go back to a little bit to like?
Yeah, let's talk about a little bit. Like I think we've touched on, and you've told the story of, how these formulations came to be. But I think it's a really important story to tell, especially now that we have a product. Of how you were guided to. Let's talk about the body oil specifically.
I think we just talk about this because honestly, and you can stop me because I'll always go into a dissertation if you don't stop me. But like I could do an episode on each product and how like fascinating stories of how each ingredient or the formula or who first used it or how I found out how it worked. Like we don't have to do an episode for everyone. We could.
Maybe we will.
We could.
We'll have a whole series.
A series on just that. But what the body oil, I think, is like a really beautiful one. And it's also, I feel like, one of our, it's our lead product.
Was it the first?
So it was the first one that was created in its whole entirety with me and the Angels. And it's also the first one that's come out of the labs we've been working on a handful of products, all of them amazing. And this one is the first one that's done. And it's also the first one we finished. And I think it really represents everything we stand for. It's about sacred ritual. It's about self-love, like adoringly put it on you. It's about feeling of luxury. It's about deep nourishment. It's about a lot of things that I think we stand for. So I'm actually glad that it's the first one. And I'd love to tell the story since it's the first formula. Okay. So essentially, like I lived in Hawaii for 10 years and I lived on the edge of the ocean. And I only used one natural oil since I was in my late 20s and I'm now 51, right? I remember like always feeling like because I was on the edge of the ocean, just this one oil was fine. And it was no big deal. I didn't even think about my skin really. And then when I got guided to leave Hawaii and start to travel through countries on intuition alone, where I would on the airplane or at the hotel I was guided to go to, I would meet my next client or have a really profound spiritual journey. So I was on this spiritually led, emergent adventure with no permanent home, just going from place to place to place, having incredible experiences and gathering CEO clients around the world for this new intuitive executive coaching I was now doing in my early 40s, right? But I had only a carry-on. And I would end up being on the same trip within a month. I would be in Iceland. I would be in Thailand. I would be in Rome, right? And I was rapidly going into airplanes for hours and then being in airports and then being in all these different types. And my skin was, I don't know.
Climate changes.
Yeah, it was like so dry and then so like the oil I had felt greasy and it was a natural oil still, but it was like it wasn't working anymore. And especially I remember being in Boulder, Colorado during the holidays and it was elevated at the same time. And I was like, how does anyone even live here? I'm crawling out of my skin with itchiness and dryness. Yeah. It was not working. And getting older too, I was starting to get like papery skin, like that crepey skin. Like
it's just falling apart here.
I was just
dry and crepey.
It was a skin emergency.
Yeah.
So I remember asking the Angels, like, tell me which product to get. They're telling me which hotel to go to meet my client. They're telling me which country to go to for my next spiritual journey, right? I'm like, can you tell me how to fix my skin? And I kind of said it jokingly, much like when I was 30 and said, tell me what to do with my life, and I actually got answers. Like, I didn't expect to get an answer, really. And every single morning, and when I wake up, I write 3 to 10 pages with the Angels. Like I write and they channel back through as I write back to myself, but they give me really specific answers. And it would be like, tomorrow, take the 2 p.m. flight to Rome and sit in the 3rd row and you'll meet your next client. And I would do that, right? So then after I asked this, the next day I wrote and it said, get this oil and put 500 milliliters in, get this oil, put 1,000 milliliters in, 2 ounces of this and one. And I was like, what? Like they just gave me a formula of all these very specific things. Some I've used, some I haven't. Scents I've never used. I always loved jasmine from living in Hawaii. And I've actually always loved rose, hilariously. Do you know, I've never thought to this moment, those are my 2 favorite scents. Like it's never even occurred to me. I just thought it's a formula that's
I have a
given.
jasmine on my arm.
Right. And the rose is the
the rose is the Magdalene.
Talk more about that.
Connected to the Magdalene priestesses. So
say more about.
Pull on the rose deck every day.
Yes.
I mean, roses are very much a part of both of our journeys.
Yes, it's to me the symbol of the sacred feminine that has popped her head up into symbolism throughout the history of humanity, and I think it's kind of the root of how things became a rosary.
Yep.
And I think it's like where there's rose petals on certain ceremonies.
And it's one of the, like, there's DNA from roses from, like, it's one of the longest evolutionary plants as well.
Amazing. Well, and when the scents were put together, I was just like, when I mixed it exactly how they told me, not like kind of skeptically, actually. I was like, I'm always skeptical, actually, until I try what they tell me. I'm like, okay, I'll go on that seat in Rome if you tell me. Let's see if I get a client. And then I do. And it was the same thing with the formula.
Well, and I love to, like, one of the things we've talked about in the bigger picture of the company is this, when you get a formula or you get something, an ingredient, you do go and do scientific research.
Immediately.
You have a pharmacology background.
Yes.
You have a research background.
Yes.
So I always think it's interesting that those 2 very seemingly very different ways of getting information are always a part of your process.
Yes. What I found is that, like, some people just go, well, the scientist told me, and they swallow it whole. Or they'll say, the scientist told that, so I don't believe it, so I do the opposite. Like, I don't believe in either world. I'm like, we can, I mean, this was biohacking before I'd ever heard of the term biohacking. They gave me a formula. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make it, and I'm going to try it in every way that actually I can possibly imagine personally. And I'm going to track it closely because I know my body, I know my skin, I know the problems I'm having, I know the results I want to see. There's that. And then there's also, like, somehow I got guided, you know, in my late 20s to take a job that I was trained for a year with basically a degree in pharmacology, where I learned how to read research studies. And hilariously, it was for any product and any pharmaceutical product or non-pharmaceutical product. That was the training. But the one that I applied it to was a topical cream. So I had to learn about actual transdermal transfer of vitamins into the skin. So I was like, not only do I know how to research this, I know how to research skin stuff. And so I went to town, as you can imagine, and I made the batch, and I couldn't believe how beautiful it smelled. And I was instantly surprised because any oil that I've ever used, I don't know, but my mom always had this like sesame oil by the bath when I was a little girl growing up, and I never quite got it. But I remember I'd seen it and tried it when I was a bit older, and that was my experience of a body oil. And then this one that I had used that was sort of like more like a cooking oil. It was always available in Hawaii. Then I was like, when I did it, I was like, oh, this is interesting. It takes a long time to absorb. They must be wrong, because fast absorbing is what everyone wants and needs. And the interesting thing is that when I was in Portugal and I went to try to find the oils they were telling me, when I went to buy them, the woman said to me, she started talking to me in Portuguese, because I am 4% Portuguese, but I was like, no, I don't speak it. She said, she stopped and she's like wet, oil, more wet, dry, more oil, more dry. And I was like, oh, I have to put it on with water. Like, I have to put it on with water. And I did what she said. I tried one arm and the other. And I was like, oh, if I put it on without any water in my skin, it makes it more dry. And I was like, whatever that woman was saying is exactly what I needed to know. So I would put water on, and then I put too much water on. And then the oils just kind of like all swam around on top of my skin. I'm like, this can't be it. So I tapped it dry, put it in, and then that was the sweet spot. And then I noticed it took like 30 minutes for me. And then when I experimented with other people, it could take up to 60 minutes. So 30 to 60 minutes, let it soak in. But then, oh my God, my skin. And it would stay all day, all night, different time, like putting it on before I went in like the shower, and then long flights and like not getting to shower for like a while. I was like, this is incredible. Whatever it's doing is doing something nothing else is doing. And if I have to wait a few more minutes for it to absorb in, so be it. Like I was blissed out by it. So I was great with it and I used it myself. Then COVID hit. And I was in connection with a bunch of women. We would meet online and they would say one day, what are you doing? And I'd say, I'm making my last batch of body oil. And they're like, what body oil? I'm like, it's the one the angels gave me. They're like, recipe. And I'm like, oh, you guys want it? Like it didn't even occur to me anyone else would ever want it, right? And I made it for them and I set it out and I gave it to them in batches. And all of them, because they were in COVID and weren't in a hurry or whatever, I'm like, it does take a while to soak in. They're like, great, we have nothing but time. And that was maybe the biggest hesitation of me sharing it with anyone. Is anyone going to want to kind of wait for it to soak in? And they all had very different skin types from very different cultures, very different problems, redness, acne, dryness, oiliness, and I was like, I don't know how it works for everyone. Like I never intended to share it. And all of them were like, the redness went away, the acne went away, everyone had their great results with it. And I was like, this is amazing. So then I had the very last ingredients that I had, and then Amazon was shut down for COVID. So I was like, this is the last batch I can make. Okay, here goes. And I was like, you know what? Since I have this time, why don't I just add in a little bit of carrot juice? I think that there's this I had read something about it and I put this drop, literally a drop of it. And I was like, oh, it'll just add a little, I think it will make my skin color different in the sun. I read or something silly, right?
Carrot juice.
It was I think it was if you have carrot juice and you mix a drop of it into your suntan lotion, you get a deeper color. I had read something like this. I can't remember. I put it in my last batch. It went rancid instantly. It was I couldn't believe it. I ruined my very last batch of oil. I was devastated. I had to throw the whole thing out. It was so smelly. It went so milky and weird. And I was like, angels, why did this happen? And they were like, never, ever change the formula. It's perfect. And I was like, and sometimes it has to be painful to remember, right? And so I had to wait another 2 months and I tried everything else and it sucked and I couldn't replicate it. And I had 3 of them and it didn't work and whatever. And so as soon as Amazon opened again, I was like, give me 5 liters of everything. And I made it again. And then COVID ended and it opened up and everyone went back. And I was like, do you still use the body oil even though you have to let it soak in? They're like, I don't even notice it soaking in. I remember you mentioning that.
I'm going to say something controversial here.
Yeah.
I don't sit around and let it soak in. I just go on. I mean, I'm aware.
That's what they told me.
If I'm going to wear something that's silky, with any oil, I'm kind of like, okay, I'll pat it down.
Yeah.
I'll sometimes be wet, put on my oil. And if I know I'll pat it down. So it's with a towel. But mostly I just go, I don't necessarily always lie there for 60 minutes waiting for it to.
This is what all the women told me. They said
I do have moments of my sacred ritual at night when I put on a robe and I use it because I use it after the shower and I use it after a bath.
Yeah.
But sometimes, especially with the kids and the teenage, life on the move, I am adoring the process of putting it on. And then I'm like, I'm going.
Yeah. That's exactly what they told me. Not controversial.
Don't know if it's breaking the code of the oil.
It isn't. I think the only thing that's good to know is how long your skin needs before you can put on the clothes you're going to wear.
And the water trick is
it's essential. Yeah. The dampness.
Even if I just have a little water under the tap, if I'm really dry, I'll just put some and put it on.
Yeah. I'll if I'm running out the door, I'll always look at my shins. I don't know about you, but my shins are the driest. Yeah. And so I'll just take a handful of water and put it down my leg and then put it on my legs and rub it in. And I walk out the door and it's fine. Well, and they said the same thing. I get out of the shower, I put my towel on. By the time I've done my hair and my makeup, it's fine. So it all worked. It wasn't as dramatic as I thought at the end of the day. And everyone kind of figured it out for themselves. But it's everyone fell in love with it and uses it and figured it, keeps making it to this day. So when we were guided to bring it to market, I was like, I know that it's 7 oils. I know the exact recipe. How long can it take? I was giving it to them and I'm like, we'll probably have this product in a couple months. Remember, I think I said 4 months. And the manufacturers thought so too. Getting that scent right. And it has to be actual essential oil because they tried to do it with non-essential oil for some reason, which I was And I
Cost.
said, yes,
Wasn't it cost?
yes and no. Like first it was cost for sure. They were like, these essential oils will make the product be a couple $100s. Right. And I was like, I don't know about I don't want to sell it for a couple $100s. I want it to be accessible and for people to be able to use it. So we went looking for a different types of essential oil, I think. And I was like, it doesn't like, I think that there's different kinds. Let's kind of see what this, spectrum of essential oils are. And the one that they tried, it got little balls. Remember, like it made the oil when it got cold and then cooled down, form balls and whatever. So then I was like, we have to have pure essential oil. The angels told me, like it was our one foray into like not doing perfect essential oil. And I was like, we've got to figure this out. Maybe it's smaller quantities, maybe it's whatever. We have to make it affordable and use essential oil because we can't, anytime we micro change the formula, it ruins it. And they found this scent house that would make a bespoke scent that is patented as ours. No one else can use it. We can put it in our candle. We can put it in our other products. And it took them months. I remember they'd send us 2 samples with like a coffee with coffee beans in a jar, and you'd smell it, coffee bean, smell it, and you have the nose that knows. And finally they found it. And we kept getting it closer and closer. And the last 2, I remember smelling one and not feeling anything energetically because I don't have a scent differentiator. They smelled the same to me, but one, my energy just felt the same. The other one, I felt like literally my energy rose to the heavens. Like I literally felt like I could feel and be with the angels. Like it was almost like the vibration of the angelic channel, which is the frequency of love, which is what we stand for. So we found the scent that's the frequency of love. And this is the very first time we get to use it.
So exciting.
We did it.
Yes.
So we did it.
Yeah.
It's our first product and our
amazing.
first sample of our first product.
Big milestone.
Yep. I love how it feels. I've done all the tests for me. I put it in the fridge, out of the fridge, in the fridge, out of the fridge, 8 hours both times.
Right.
No little balls.
Because that was a discovery in one of the ones you gave me. I went home and my house is cold and I was like, I don't know why I'm getting all these balls.
And then I took one that didn't have the scent they were trying and put it in and out, and it was fine. I said, it's the scent that's doing that. I'm not being talked out of essential oils again. Like, we have to find someone that will do it in a way that works. And we found him. We found like this older essential oil scent house that was willing to do it at the price point for the vision and the dream. And I love that the women from the manufacturer, so we actually manufacture this in California by a woman-owned company, which is some of our values and principles when it's possible to do so. And when they wrote from the lab and said the scent is heavenly, I just was so touched by that.
Yep, all the signs. Yeah, this is a big milestone.
It's a really big deal.
Now we get our bottles and we bring it and get to share it with the world. It's very exciting. And
in the meantime, I've actually got even more curious and was like, I'll wrap up with this. I was like, why did they choose these 5? Like, this works, right? So I did all of that and I knew it works. And then, of course, the scientist in me was like, I want to know why it works. And there's 2 oils that work specifically together. And I said, how can I, what should I go looking for? They said, go find out why these 2 oils work well together. Go find out this and that. They gave me a few things to go research. And then I went down the rabbit hole. One cool thing is that we use the 5 oils are from nut, seed, and flower, and all of those have different offerings to the skin experience, which I love. And there's many different forms of vitamin E from those different parts of the plant. The oils, 2 of them, they can carry nutrients with them. They are deep penetrating carrier oils. So they actually meant to go to the deeper skin layers. But the cool thing is by using both of them, one of them will take the types of nutrients that dissolve in water, and one will take the types of nutrients dissolve in oil, which covers all nutrients. So you could have a carrier oil that's trying to take nutrients, but it actually doesn't really take the oil-based ones, and they get left behind on the surface. Because we use the combination, any nutrient available in the oil will go all the way deep. They've actually done the studies of 2 of the other oils, and they penetrate to 90% depth, the living skin layer, which only one of the oils is capable of doing, and it's measured to do so. And it's one that's rarely in a skincare. So I was like, oh, that's amazing. And that same oil does this other cool thing, which is that it opens the surface skin barrier and also seals it. So almost all chemical or like non-natural oil way of softening is to actually sort of have to break the skin barrier to get to the depth, but then it damages it. This actually has a natural way of opening it, penetrating and closing it again. And that's why there's microneedling, is to get below that barrier. It's really hard, but these oils in this combination naturally do so. And then on top of that, because of the spectrum of the ones that they chose, we have all these things that, protect the skin and gather free radicals and actually do anti-aging, do protecting, repair, fill in wrinkles. They've actually measured how much they pack between the cells to make softness happen. Anything that you would want a skin care to do, it does. It has squalene for like regeneration, for turning over cells. Like, I think you'd be hard pressed to try to find something else you want to put in there. Like it's got vitamins A, vitamin E, vitamin C, like it's just got all the stuff. So they knew what they were doing when they gave us this formula, and the science is all there. And it's going to be all, with your approval, there's going to be a section on the website with all the science that I'm going to put everything I discovered for anyone that wants to get as geeked out as I
Sure. I think it's great. Yeah.
Oh, and the one other thing I'll share is that one of the oils, it mimics your sebum, I think it's called, sebum, the natural layer of your skin. And when your skin detects that, it stops overproducing oil. So it either lets it fill in oil that you need if you're dry, or it stops overproduction if you're oily. So you can even have a combination skin, and it will even it out. And also, when I started using it on my face, which wasn't the original plan, but I started experimenting with that, I stopped wearing foundation. It literally, I still don't wear it, except when they put it on when I get in front of the camera. But it evened out the skin, the redness, and the skin tone. So it's just, I don't know, I'm really happy about this being the first product. I think it's something that people can have an immediate experience with. I think it's a self-love ritual. I love the notion of lovingly applying it and letting it be a bit more of a nurturing self-love ritual that takes maybe a little bit more time, but is so worth it for how like luxury you feel.
With this product, as with all our products, we're going to have a QR code to a sacred ritual. So an invitation to use the product in a sacred way, to create a ritual, to slow down, like we were talking about on our Panama trip, how we really unwound, right? And we can't always go on retreat, but we can always pause and create space between moments, between one thing and another, and between, taking the bath and going to bed, or coming home and making dinner. I can create these little mini moments, and these sacred rituals are an invitation into that, to create that kind of mini transformation, right, of our energy.
So I love this, and we have not created the sacred ritual. We know that we're going to have a sacred ritual that's with the QR code on this bottle, and we haven't created it yet.
Right.
And you told me that when you put it on, you're still going, So what sacred ritual would you want to maximize the sacred experience of the body oil? What would you want to create?
I mean, my favorite way to use it is to put some in the bathtub.
Same.
Light a candle. I put some salts in the bath.
Same.
Put on some music.
Same.
Lock the door, because I have teenagers who just barge in.
My dog is more than welcome. Doors are open.
Side note, I never thought I'd be sharing my bathroom with my teenage son. I thought it would be my daughter that would be taking over. But
why is that happening?
I don't know. He just really likes my bathroom, my shower. He likes to take a bath.
Okay. He's a bath guy.
He can try our oils.
That's great.
Yeah. Just to have that moment. So coming out of the bath, right? Putting on the oil, wrapping up in a robe. I sort of, because I live two lives, the version of it that happens with the kids is shorter than the version that happens here.
You mean the version of you getting out of the shower is shorter?
Yeah, like the time I can take for that ritual, right? The ritual of, but I think even applying the oil as a ritual. I remember...
That's for sure.
I don't know. I just remember years and years ago, someone telling me that every time we put on body lotion, or teaching a girl to put on body lotion, is it creates an opportunity for self-love.
I agree with this.
So that every time I'm putting on the oil, I'm not just like slapping it on haphazardly, but I'm really like sending love.
Yeah.
And in a world where we are kind of bombarded with the opportunity to be unhappy with our bodies, to pour that love in and to sort of celebrate in that moment.
Like, oh my gosh, I love this.
So grateful for this body in this moment, this leg, right?
Yes.
These dry shins that are now lathered in this oil.
Yeah.
These arms that have carried my babies. These breasts that have fed them, that give me so much pleasure. This body, right? Just to go through the body with the oil. And again, it could be 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's the intention. It's the
take
ritual.
much.
We can bring ritual brings intention into anything.
I agree with this.
I can make my coffee in the morning thinking about a million things, or I can create a ritual.
The ritual is really the presence.
It's the presence and it's the intention.
I was going to say an intention. So one of the favorite things I ever show, and I show every single client this at some point in their journey with me, I show them this IKEA experiment where IKEA, the store company, like the furniture company, gave identical plants to a number of schools. And they got the same amount of water, light, and food. So identical everything. They were about 10, 15 feet apart from each other. And for a month, one plant was bullied and just negative energy was sent towards it, and the other one was complimented and loved and adored. And they took pictures of both at the end of the month from all these different schools, and it's the exact same thing over and over again. The bullied plant is limp and flaccid and dying, and the other one looks beautiful and perfect. And I'm like, this is what we're doing to ourselves. We are either having our cells be full and bright and their full expression and healthy and vibrant and working together as a whole. And that creates outer beauty, a physical expression. And I shared this in a podcast where I was interviewed by a 32-year-old woman. And she said, I so understand what you're saying. I used to be about 15 pounds heavier, and I decided to sit down naked in front of a mirror every day. And this podcast is on my website. And she said I would just look at every part of my body and love on it, even the rolls on my tummy, the fat under my armpit. Like, she just was like, I would just love on my body. And it started to change. It started to actually reform, and I didn't need it to, but it did. And she started to become the complemented plant. And her skin started to look like the leaves that were full and turgid with water. And she said, I lost all the weight. She's like, looks physically perfect. And she's like, I've been this form ever since because I will only send loving energy to my actual cells of my body. And this is scientifically proven by Dr. Emoto's studies of water and, the shape it takes when you're either sending love, expansive energy, or collapsing energy of anger, hate, or disappointment, or shame, or you should be something other than you are. So I think the most powerful thing we could do is somehow create a ritual, even if someone can't go and turn the ritual on, but maybe the first time you ever do it, we give a few words to remember every time you're putting it on, even if you don't go back and play the QR code every single time.
What if like we talk about like we see the beauty in you, and what if the ritual is like I see the beauty in me?
Oh, the I see the beauty in me ritual. That goes
really
with the sacred power. That's so beautiful. Yeah. And even if I've had it.
Like almost eye gazing with yourself as you put on the oil.
Right. And can you keep all your attention on the part that you're touching? Can you do it lovingly instead of slapping it on? Could we be gentle with ourselves and nurturing and caring with ourselves the way we wish someone else would be? And could we send love to each and every cell that we're connecting with and start to be the complemented plant and do that for ourselves so that no one can ever take that away from us? That sounds beautiful.
I like it.
Yeah, I see the beauty in me ritual. We just birthed it.
Great.
Can't wait to do it, goddess. Yay.
Yeah. And of course, I always think of my daughter.
Yeah.
Right. And all of the generations beyond us who are growing up with so much comparison and so many, and, where we had magazines that gave us a sense of like, oh, I don't look like that. Now we have filters and we have TikTok and we have a kind of constant magnification of, am I meeting that standard of beauty? And to really, to give them, to definitely invite her into the ritual to try the body. I'm like, we'll be replacing all the oils in my house once we get batches.
Yeah, I can't wait for the rock the hot you've got ritual, which has always been my motto, which is like, when I was a professor for 10 years in Hawaii, girls would come to me and say, you know, we're going to be presenting at, you know, this big, huge event. What do I wear? How do I look professional? I don't think I look good in dresses like the kind that these girls wear. I don't know what to wear. And it's all this comparison trying to find their own expression. And I'd say, you know, you don't look like those girls at all. You have a different kind of hot. Let's rock the hot you've got. Let's go and find when 21-year-old had leukemia and she was nearly bald and she had always had long, glorious hair. So she's like, I don't think I can look professional. I should probably not go. I should hide, right? And I said, you are not the only one with 1 inch long dark hair. Let's go and look and see pictures of thin girls with inch long dark hair. And what's her name? Who was in the Harry Potter movie? Hermione. She popped up right away and I said, oh, you guys kind of look alike. And she's like, we do. And it was her first moment where this new version of her, this thin, almost bald version of her that had just gone through leukemia, all of a sudden looked like someone that she could relate to that was pretty. And I said, let's look how she does a gala. And let's look. And I'm like, oh, you know what she does? Bright red lipstick. Look at your lips. You have full, beautiful lips. Why don't we do a sort of faded out eye and some mascara and bright red lips? And we did it. And she showed up glowing. And I was like, you've never been this thin. Let's look at these thin looks. She can wear a dress like this. You've never worn a dress like you can now. Why don't you? And she did. And every time I saw her, she was wearing red lipstick and she had come into the hot. She's rocking the hot she got. And then another girl, she was Hawaiian, she was size 12, super smooth, beautiful, dark mocha skin. And she's like, I don't look like the girls, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you're not that kind of hot. Look at the hot you've got. Let's look up women that look like this. Let's look up Hawaiian women, Hawaiian singers. And we found someone. I'm like, look at her. Look at how she wears a Hawaiian print. You could do that. Look at, she's showing her shoulders. They're so smooth and creamy. No one could wear that except for she did it. So I just feel like, let's just find the version that is the most beautiful expression of who I am now. And once we love on that version of ourselves, we will come to the fullest expression of that version. And it might change, but it doesn't need to.
Right. Yeah.
I love it. So rock the hot you've got is another ritual.
With, I see the beauty in me.
Which is, it's actually the same ritual.
Yeah. Can't rock the hot you've got till you see the beauty in you.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
And I see the beauty in you. So
absolutely.
The invitation is to, beautiful ritual of seeing the beauty in me.
I love this. You heard it here first.
Indeed.
Yay. Well, this is great. I'm glad we got to go on the longer journey of how this first product came to be. It's really the foundation of everything. And I really feel millions of people around the world feeling this luxury. Like the skin is the biggest organ of the body. It's what holds us. And when it's nourished and actually fed vitamins and not chemicals and held with this like heavenly scent, we're just wrapping everyone. We're starting the company with wrapping everyone with the most beautiful, luxurious feeling and this experience. I believe in the beauty of me.
Yeah. Very exciting.
Thanks, Goddess.
Thanks, Goddess.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the journey with us. We'd love to have you as part of the ongoing conversation. Join us on our socials at Sofanya Beauty and join our email community at sofanyabeauty.com. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode.